process is not the same player that they got. And watching the tape, he just didn't have the desire and competitive toughness, and he needs to figure out if he wants to play football. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Titans. I wouldn't have said any of that shit if I was trying to trade him. Like, I wouldn't have said any of that shit if I was trying to trade him. That was retarded.
That would caught me off guard.
That was stupid.
I didn't know you were going that route. That's a fair point. Yeah, you must really hate this kid. I mean, his girlfriend is the one who got yanked off national television by his mom. Full disclosure, his girlfriend's white. That's why everybody made a big deal out of it. Because Big Mom just got up and yanked her ass off camera. Like, this is his moment. Get your big ass out of the way. But that was kind of a red flag then. And he had red flags about his character coming out of Georgia. They're like, yeah, he's not better than the left tackle that got drafted by the Giants, Andrew Thomas. He's not. He has the potential to be a great right tackle, but his maturity and all that. And unfortunately, he was at a party when COVID first busted out, doing all types of wild stuff, no mask. Then he tweeted something really stupid. There's just been like 5 things that he did. Well, and he opted out of the season too, after getting caught at the party. Like, he pretty much ruined his own life.
I just think
I don't see how he's going to get a second chance.
The lesson for it all is you have to do your homework and you have to have a plan, especially in the COVID era. Like, yeah, things happen unforeseen, but you just like any job, you want to find the right culture fit. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. Like, you want to have somebody, especially on a team like the Titans, that's a veteran team, a team that's trying to get over the hump. Like, you can't afford to have those sort of misses. You got to get the surefire fit for your culture.
They passed on some guys who would have helped them at that spot, but it just goes to show you have to respect the game.
And there's also a lot,
and there's also respect the game.
And there's also a lot of pressure on offensive linemen because, especially in the first round, because like
he was kind of wasn't supposed to go that high.
Dude, you come in the league at 21 to like 23, and like, yeah, you're big and juiced and whatever, but you're going against 30-year-olds, 28-year-olds who have an extra 5 years and even better training and nutrition than you. Like, it's not that easy to make that jump, no matter how big or how athletic or how aggressive you are or coordinated. Like, it's a hard transition.
Yeah.
And especially in the offensive line, because people expect you to just act a certain way and be a leader and not be a distraction. And it's like, well, I'm still a person. I'm still a kid. Like, I'm still entitled to fuck up just like all these receivers and DBs and running backs.
Nah, you're a grown man now at that point.
Yeah. All right. Well, touchdown or turnover.
What's up with Georgia players busting out? DeAndre Baker, Tim. Not looking too good for Georgia players.
Touchdown or turnover. Black assistant coaches interviewed say they don't think they got a legitimate interview. Touchdown or turnover.
Yeah, I read this article. It was off Pro Football Talk. Ray Horton, he was like, is this just a Rooney Rule qualification? Or are you really considering me as a head coach? And courtside, they were talking about it beforehand with black assistant coaches, in particular in Minnesota, where Chris Finch from the Toronto assistant coach got the head coaching job, over a guy who was already there. And Saunders' son really only got the job in Minnesota because, of his dad. And you see how that situation played out. And, yeah, it's like, especially when you look at the coaches who got hired in the NFL, and most of them did not have head coaching experience. But there's plenty of black assistants who did. And like Pep Hamilton, how is he not an offensive coordinator somewhere? Every QB he's coached has had success. But anyway, yeah, it's that feeling that these black coaches are feeling is that's a touchdown to that. Speaking to that.
I think it's kind of a turnover that on the other side, you kind of have Mike Tomlin coming on doing an interview saying that
he has COVID-19, by the way.
Yeah, saying that, kind of advocating for the process just because he kind of benefited from it. But the truth is, like, that's the exception, not the rule.
Exactly. And the Steelers
Mike Tomlin
only
is
had 5
one
coaches.
of so many. All right, next up, the Bears are tweeting at Deshaun Watson. They were also tweeting at Russell Wilson. And guess what? Mitch Trubisky is still on the roster, at least for now. They haven't renounced his rights, said that he's not coming back. So, touchdown or turnover, the Bears' QB recruiting efforts. I'm going to say
go for it.
I'm going to say it's a turnover just because the Bears will find a way to fuck it up. And even if they do find a way to land one of those marquee quarterbacks, I feel like they're either going to leverage so much draft capital or it won't matter because of who they have at head coach.
I agree. I would say it's a turnover for the simple fact that if you don't get Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, you just let it be known that you don't have faith in quarterback on that roster. And you probably have to trade Khalil Mack just to get Deshaun Watson.
And don't forget, you still got no receiving core because Allen Robinson's a free agent.
Yeah. Isn't he restricted?
No, he's a full free agent.
Yeah. He should probably go to the Packers because he apparently turned down the Packers to go to Chicago. I don't know why the hell he did that, but yeah.
Last one. High school sports get greenlit in California, kind of. So for those of you who don't know, essentially what the state did was they took the threshold, the tiers to OK Sports and raised them. So instead of having 7 per 100,000 to play sports, they upped it to 14 per 100,000 cases to have sports. So that gave teams a much better window. Right now, I think LA's at like 13. Riverside and San Bernardino are close, 16 and 17. I think OC is close as well, and San Diego is close as well. So pretty much SoCal football has at least gotten the green light to start conditioning and pods and social distancing and all that stuff. Now, in order for the season to continue, we're looking at about March 8th. That would give teams about 2 weeks to get ready for pads, and then also a 4-game schedule. Logistically, teams still have to kind of schedule their 4 or 5 games and kind of figure that out. But so far, it looks like we're going to get football. The Board of Supervisors also needs to approve the games to happen and for the school districts to be able to play. But as of now, things have took a positive turn in the past week or so. So, touchdown or turnover, SoCal sports.
I think it's a touchdown, but my only kind of thing that I'd be worried about is like, so win-loss records don't matter this year, right? Like that's it shouldn't matter, right? So you can't fire a coach if they don't win any games this year, right? See, that's my worry.
My thing is just this, right? Like we're already talking about issues with respect, just in the culture of football, like in general, and like the fact that these kids haven't been around their teams or playing for a year, like especially here in Southern California, like these players haven't been with their teams. They haven't been with their teammates. So I'm just worried, like, if you go out there and field a team of, 15 freshmen, like, what is that going to do for their psyche, for their respect of the game? And not just that, but fundamentally, like, what is their body and their coordination going to look like? Like, what does that look like? I don't know. So I guess right now I'll just call it a fucking kickoff because I don't know if it's touchdown or a turnover. Like, but at least it's progress, it's action, it's something.
It's a passing league.
I guess overtime.
Yeah, man. I think that's.
I'll tell you what, though, it's nice to play football in spring in California. I will say that. Like, it's beautiful outside right now in the South Bay. Perfect weather to play football.
It is, but it's just I don't know. This is uncharted territory. And again, like, what's going to happen with these junior colleges? Because there's a matriculation system, and they have to go somewhere.
Yeah. All right, so with that, let's get to the rants. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, so I don't have a lot this week. Last week, I celebrated the death of my grandfather. It was pretty interesting to travel up to Sacramento and hang out with my dad's brothers and sisters from his dad, his half brothers and sisters, who I've only met a few times, so got to play some card games with them and learn a little bit about them and their culture. So that was definitely interesting, and I enjoyed myself. Also, the anniversary of my other grandpa's death, so just been going through a lot in terms of, just accepting the fact that, this is it. Like, this is life now, and with all that, I think the thing that has really brought me a lot of joy has been, being able to see my brother kind of finally get with his team, finally start doing conditioning and start that chapter, because, he's been putting in so much work these past few months without really being able to reap the benefits and see his progress, because it's just, him competing with himself. But today, man, when he was running sprints, seeing him, finish in the top 3, top 4 each time, 1, 2, whatever, just seeing him up there and people being surprised at him being a freshman, or being surprised at what position he plays, or, when he was running by everyone and the coach just broke his neck and was like, who's that kid? And you see that from the other side of you see that from the target, bro. Like, it's just crazy. And it just goes to anyone out there, everything happens for a reason. You just got to trust the process. You got to let yourself be great and just put in the work. If you build it, it'll happen. That's what this podcast is like.
Indeed.
This podcast.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting week for me. Happy that it's payday. Still waiting on that stimulus to come through. You say shakes?
Shakes.
Cheeks?
Shakes.
Shakes?
Shakes.
Shakes. All right. So, yeah, it's been interesting from the standpoint of, like, I've realized something. Like, pain is a punchline that everybody but you finds funny. That's a bar. Hear me out. So pain is a punchline that everyone but you finds funny, right? Once you realize, oh, that shit hurt, and you're sensitive to anything that might cause that pain to happen, other people might find it funny. Like, oh, man, get over it. Like, it's not that big a deal. Or to try to strengthen you or reinforce, like, if they're strong, they'll make jokes. They'll do things to try to help you just accept the reality of, like, okay, it hurt, but it's over now. You don't have to keep reliving that hurt. And I think a lot of times, especially in going from our teens to our 20s, we're really just playing out a lot of hurt, and we're trying to make a punchline that we're not supposed to find funny. So you just gotta accept the fact that, like, yeah, when some traumatic shit happens to you, it's not funny. But other people are going to laugh at things that, like, yeah, it hurts. It hurts you, but it didn't hurt us. It may have hurt us. It may have hurt us watching you go through it, but after a while, once the grief period's over, we're going to get these fucking jokes off, bro. Like, I had to live with those Sean Kingston jokes. Like,
bro, stop.
I had to live with that shit. I had to live with your toe was fucking disgusting after I broke my foot and got it out of the cat. My foot turned purple at one point in high school. Like, the shit was bad. The toe, like, they called my toe the claw.
Bro, what you were saying was like, I'm playing. It was